Have you ever played a game so terrifying that you had to play with the lights on? I can't say I ever wanted that experience, but this game behind today's review puts you right into the nightmare. The Suffering isn't just any horror game, it throws you into the chaos and fear like nothing else. Today we're going to see what this reviewer had to say, and we're going to ask, should this horrifying classic get a modern remake? Stick around to find out. So we're going to talk about one of the best horror classic games that unfortunately was taken off the market. Sad days, man. I tried downloading it, can't find it anywhere. But anyway, here we are. Welcome to episode 10 of Rob Reads Reviews. Today we have a review coming in from Tills2190. He posted this July 13th, 2025. And he wrote, I can tell this came from a time when scary or thrilling meant gore and unnecessary violence. I think the plot of this game is interesting. You end up on death row and things go south immediately when you get there. So you need to investigate what all these things are killing everyone in the prison, and what you've got to do with everything happening around you. Story-wise, I'm invested. However, this is definitely a dated game. Character models look super goofy. It's safe to assume that more detail and work went in towards the next generation of consoles this was made on. The dialogue is also pretty bland, so it doesn't hold up too well. I also sense that some enemies were inspired by Silent Hill, which is pretty neat. This is worth a play if you're interested, and definitely worth a run through if the story catches your attention, but that's it. Alright, I want to give you a little backstory for anyone who hasn't played The Suffering. You play as Torque, an inmate on death row at Abbott State Penitentiary. He's been convicted of killing his entire family, but claims to have total amnesia. He doesn't remember if he did it or not. Just as Torque arrives in prison, a supernatural disaster strikes, unleashing hordes of straight out of a Stephen King novel. The prison is overrun by monstrous antagonists called Malifactors, whose sole purpose is to kill Torque. And as he fights his way through the chaos, Torque can tap into his inner rage, transforming into a powerful beast to unleash hell on his enemies. Throughout the game, your choice to determine whether Torque seeks redemption and clears his name, or he accepts defeat to his darker side and becomes the monster everyone fears. Alright, so point number one, The Suffering tapped into a horror action genre that wasn't really as crowded as it is today. While there were fewer earlier horror games like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and even Extermination on the PS2, most mainstream titles at the time were shooters or action games, not psychological horror games. That rarity helped The Suffering stand out among them. It wasn't your typical shooter, and the unnatural elements were grounded enough to feel genuinely unsettling. Even if they weren't exactly likely to happen in real life, God, I hope not, I think the sense of originality and unease really contributed to the game's success. Point number two, so let's talk about these Malifactors, the grotesque creatures that make The Suffering so unsettling. There are 17 different types of Malifactors in the game, each one designed to terrify, and kill you as you try to survive. The sheer variety combined with the game's dark plot really puts you into a thrill. You're constantly on edge, facing jump scares and overwhelming feeling that you're truly alone as you navigate your hellish landscape filled with these monsters. It's relentless sense of danger that makes The Suffering such an effective horror experience. So point number three, moving along, he talks about the game's over-the-top violence. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not really into violent games or movies or anything of that. There's just nothing wrong with them, they're just not my style, right? I don't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I know everyone's gonna die, right? But I have to agree with his point, The Suffering takes violence to another level and just keeps it going. It does not stop as you progress. There is no break from that intensity. Now, interestingly enough, the developer's willingness to push the boundaries probably helped The Suffering stand out in the market where most games didn't go that far, not even close, at least from what I can see. As for players thinking it's too scary, well, my research shows that The Suffering is widely regarded as one of the most horrific games out there. But while not too many people said they couldn't finish it, the consensus is that it's scary as hell. Did you guys get a chance to play this horror classic? Do you think it's too scary? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, point four. He mentions the character models are dated. Brother, as someone who has played this game when it launched in 2004, and again recently on modern systems, I think it's a bit unfair to say, well, really to say that. If you're reviewing the game nearly 2 decades after its release, it's pretty much a given that graphics are going to look dated, just like any other game from that time frame. To put it in perspective, Cyberpunk 2077 is considered one of the most graphically pleasing games of today. But you give it 19 years and people will say the same thing, that the game's dated, the visuals are less than good, right? It just comes with how technology moves forward. So while the dated character models are worth mentioning, I think it's more of an improvement to judge the game for the context of its time. So point 5, he closes out his review by saying the dialogue was pretty bland. Now, I am not a game developer, very far from it, but I think this could be attributed to the limitations of 2004. As I mentioned earlier, technological advances in game systems can handle more data over time. That said, I agree that some of the dialogue felt forced and it didn't really flow. For example, when Torque walks by certain areas, it might trigger a cutscene or strange response from a non-playable character or NPC.
Whatever I've done, the Reverend says Jesus has forgiven me.
Will you shut the f*** up, you baby sack of
Now, interestingly enough, I think the developer's intent was to immerse you into a dark, hopeless atmosphere, with these characters acknowledging how messed up their world is and there's no saving it. Still, some of these lines just didn't hit right and it ended up feeling a bit awkward. What should be the next steps for this game series? Well, it's been a long time since 2005 and a lot has changed. For starters, Midway Games was unfortunately dissolved in 2010, ending any hope for a new addition to the series from the original developers. But there's always hope that another game studio will recognize what a gem this series is and choose to buy the rights. If someone decided to remaster the original or create a third installment, I think it would be a phenomenal addition, as there's definitely room for one more game. With that, we've reached the end of this video. What do you guys think? Does Kills2190 have a point? Did this review get its message across, or should we, as a community, find better ways to communicate what we want? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you for watching.